how to become rich. Think about that. Haven't you heard that before? I know you have. We all have. You're watching The Attractive Thinker. I am Tony Hatton, The Attractive Thinker. And I'm going to share with you today how I became rich. As you can see, this is my treasure box, and I treasure it. So I'm going to share with you what I have in my treasure box. What is a treasure box? It's more than just a box. It's more than a physical box. It's more than finding a treasure in the deep blue sea. Your treasure is inside. So think about that for a moment. Your treasure is inside. It's based upon not just what you've been through, but what you've acquired along the way. Your treasure. The things that you have been through, what did you learn from it? Did you pick up the golden nuggets along the way so that you could have something to share with other people once you journey through certain experiences, certain places, certain situations in your life? That's your treasure box. How do you become rich? You become full of treasure through your life experiences, through the things that you've overcome. And you say, Tony, I haven't overcome anything. You're still here, so I know you've overcome something, because if you're still here, if you're here, number one, you've been through something. All the way up until this point in your life, I know you've been through something. And you're not still in everything that you went through, because we all change and we grow and we develop. That's what our life experiences are all about, growing and developing. So your treasure, how do you become rich in life? You don't quit. You enter into your experiences and the situations in your life with a victor's mentality versus a victim's mentality. A victim in a situation does not feel full, they don't feel victorious, they don't feel purposeful. But a victor understands that this is only temporary. They understand that there must be something that I must learn in this. How can I use this to help someone else? That's the difference between a victor and a victim. So how do you become rich? Everybody has a treasure box. Your treasure box, you might feel like it's empty. So I'm going to show you the things that I've acquired, why my treasure box is so full and overflowing. And guess what? I couldn't even fit everything into my treasure box. The things that I thought of, they wouldn't even fit. How about that? The things that you've experienced in life, you're so abundant in them and you've learned so much, they won't even fit fully into your treasure box. So here's my treasure box. In my treasure box, I have a beautiful ink pen. I didn't know that I was a writer. I look back over my life, and I had, even in grade school, I had pieces of paper with all these writings on it, and I would write on the front and the back, and I'd flip it over. The paper wouldn't even be white anymore. I would write on every corner of that piece of paper. And it wasn't until I started going back through my boxes and my journals and in school, doodling on notebooks and notepads, that I realized, hey, I always had the tendency to write my thoughts, to write things that had meaning, to write things that encouraged other people. Had no idea that one day I would write this book. Don't be afraid, he's preparing you. I actually wrote this book in 2005. This book is a compilation of my journal, my writing journal, of when I went through a life experience, my treasure, with my son when he was 10 months old, diagnosed with cancer of the eyes. As a result, by the time he was 5, we had to have his eyes removed in order to save his life. This year he'll be 27, and he's gone with his life. When I was going through this journey, I didn't think I had a treasure. I didn't think I had anything to say to anybody. Can you believe that? This book was written in 2005. It was 1987, October 17, 1987, when he was diagnosed. Who knew? Don't be afraid. He's preparing you. There are books in you too. Do you realize that? You might say, well, I'm not a writer. Get somebody to write it for you. Record it. You went through something and you overcame it. People need to hear that, because you weren't the first one and you won't be the last one. So do your part. I'm doing my part by sharing my journey. This is my treasure. This is how I became rich. I didn't know that I was a vocal artist. I didn't know I was a singer. I just thought that I liked to sing, that I would sing around the house. You know, the Attractive Thinker theme song, it's a theme song that I play in the beginning of my radio show, the Attractive Thinker radio program. And it's a song that I wrote and I sing. You know, my voice is on here. I had no idea. I was just singing around the house. I would admire other people when they sang, like Dinah Ross and Stephanie Mills and all Whitney Houston, all the beautiful women. I would just sit there mesmerized by their beautiful voices and how they projected their voice and how beautiful they sounded, not knowing that I was a singer as well. So I say to you, Attractive Thinker, are you singing around the house? Do you sing in the shower? Are you mesmerized? Are you singing on the choir? Are you hiding behind your true voice when you should be on center stage? Really? That's your treasure. I didn't know that there were audios in me. I didn't know that my voice was supposed to be recorded. You know, I tell my clients, I say, I'm in the business of creating things that speak when I no longer can. And the only things that I know that speak when you're gone are your writings that are recorded and your voice that's recorded. So you have to put everything that you've learned in a recorded format, be it written or verbal. Because other people coming behind you need to hear what you've been through and how you overcame it. I didn't know that these things were inside of me. And that's why I tell my clients, you know, they say, well, Tony, how did you become successful? Or how do I become successful? And the number one thing that I say is don't quit. You're walking around full of treasure, and just because you're frustrated or disappointed and can't see beyond the hand in front of your face, you're going to quit? Do you realize everything that is to be something to you, every provision, every mountain, every accomplishment assigned to your life is already strategically placed on your journey? The only way you can't get it is if you quit. Do you see all of these things that are coming out of my treasure box? They were in me before I was even born. They were always there. They didn't jump in because I was going through something. They didn't jump in. I didn't acquire them because I prayed for them. They were already there. I had gotten to a point in my life where I said, God, I stopped asking God for stuff because I learned that He had already done everything that He was going to ever do for me. And when I really got that truth down inside of me, I said, okay, God, now that I know You're not going to do anything else for me, show me how to access what You've already done. That's the bottom line. You're walking around fully loaded. Your riches are inside. What else do I have in my treasure box? The Word of God. It was a lamp unto my feet in dark places. When I could not see, it was a comfort to me. It encouraged me. It inspired me to continue on. Guess what? Not in the joyous times, in the painful times. It was always there for me. I was reminded that I was created in the image of God. And guess what? So are you. So are you. Think about that. The image of God. So are you. Another thing that I share with my clients is I learned how to sit quietly so that I could hear. Something else in my box. How God prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Isn't that awesome? You know, I have so many things in my treasure box. I have a lady here, and she was holding a microphone, but the glue came off of her microphone. I had no idea that I was a vocal artist, had no idea that I was singing jazz clubs, had no idea that a live band would back me up. Man, that was an awesome experience. And guess what? It was in me before I was born. I had no idea that I would create a business to support you, Attractive Thinker. To support you in transitioning from where you are to where you desire to be so that you can create a happier, healthier, more meaningful life in 6 to 12 months. I had no idea that my life took time. I had no idea that it took time for me to get to where I wanted to be. When I got a vision of something, I wanted to hurry up and get there real quick and jump the process. Had no idea that I'd be given the keys to show women how to unlock their treasure. You know, here at Tony Hatton Productions, my life's work is to make your life better. It's not what you're going through. It's how you're viewing it. Think attractively.